friends! Welcome back to Stories in Stitches. I'm Jada. Today I'm going to try my hand at beading a carrot applique. Easter is around the corner. Carrots are kind of a rabbit thing. And a carrot was kind of spontaneously came out of me the other day when we were talking about some of the other shapes. I was trying to say apple, for some reason I said carrot, realized that a carrot would be a great thing to make, so I'm going to make a carrot today. I've got everything I think I need in front of me, including a nice hot beverage, so let's pop on over to the craft table and see what I've got in the area of beads for today. Alright, we've got a little bit of felt, as usual, for the carrot, so I'm going to do the actual carrot applique on this. I'm not going to make it very big, I'm going to make it kind of like a mini carrot. I'm kind of possibly thinking about maybe putting that on one of my doll's vests, or a piece of clothing for a doll down the road. So I'm not going to make it too big, but I do have lots and lots of orange beads. I didn't think I had much at all, then I found these. So love the stash. I also have some orange and ready orange beads over here. I'm still not sure how this is going to go. I've got some bigger orange beads, not a lot of them, and then I've got some really pretty opalescent orange beads. I've got some, I don't know, red, white. I've got green for the little, I'm going to give it a little bit of a green leafy topper. I've got a whole bunch of thread, so I'm going to get into this today because I have a lovely green and a lovely orange. Got this at the dollar store ages ago. I've been waiting to get into it. Today seems like the perfect day to do that, so I'm going to do that. Sip of tea. Let's get into it. So first things first, I'm going to draw out my carrot. So here we go. I'm going to make the little leafy green a little more fun than I did. So when I did the strawberry, I did tried to make it look like, you know how the top of a strawberry kind of lays over top of the strawberry? I kind of want the greenery to stick up a little bit. So here's the bottom of my carrot about here. This will be maybe the top of the carrot about there. I'm just dotting in the line. Carrots are a lovely, easy conical shape to make. Very agreeable shape. So there's my conical carrot, and then I think I'm going to just do some spiky greenery, some skinny spiky greenery that kind of comes out of the top. So that is the plan. I will sort of half sketch that in now. And this is a little bit challenging as it's got sort of a narrow area and some points. That's what I'm going to do in the greenery. I think I'll kind of make it kind of dip down into the bit of the carrot. And then I'll just fill in this line a little bit for myself. I hope you're all having a lovely Sunday. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, I hope you're having a lovely day, regardless of what day of the week it is. I'm going to trim this up a little bit so it's a little easier to maneuver. And I will do the final trimming when the beading is complete. There we go. Scissors off to the side. Another little sip of my tea. And let's get started. I think I'm going to do the framing of the carrot first. I'm really leaning into these larger beads. My gosh, that's almost the same color as the background, so I guess that's pretty good. And then I'm going to do the filler with all of these really pretty, these ones, like I say, are opalescent, and then I've got these just sort of plain sparkly glass orange ones. So I'm going to fill the whole thing in with these. I think that's going to look really nice. So I've got definitely enough of these to do a frame. So that's exactly where I'm going to start. Let's get into this lovely, opening a package. Can we just take a moment and appreciate how enjoyable it is to open a package of just about anything? Let's see here. There we go. That's actually not a half bad little tray. I might just keep it for the sake of my little spools. Oh, that's nice. So this is sort of it's a cotton yarn. It's obviously not super high quality. which makes me wonder if it might be a little too soft for beading. You know what? I'm going to give it a try. It's all about experimentation here. So let's pull out my little beading needle. I've got some nice white thread in there. I might come back to that. Let's try this orange thread and see how it goes. Hello, Shell. Happy Sunday, my dear. Welcome, welcome. What's on your lap today, craft-wise? Oh, goodness. How do I get into this? Ah, there we go. Found the end. Oh, that doesn't seem too bad. Hello, Ms. Rabbit. Welcome, welcome. Just what the doctor ordered, eh, Ms. Rabbit? I think so. A little Sunday afternoon beading with friends? Yes, please. Or Sunday afternoon crafting at all. I don't care what you're doing. I just hope you're doing something that brings you some pleasure, some amusement, a little bit of delight perhaps. Come on. Don't give me this kind of trouble. Oh, there we go. Got it. Woohoo! All right. I might just knot that twice. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to do an outline frame of beads just for the orange ones, and they're almost the exact same color as the felt, so it might be difficult to see, but I will pause in a little while and give you a close-up of what I'm up to. I'm going to try out this apparently cheap thread from the dollar store. So far it actually feels pretty nice, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm always happy to not have to spend much on crafting material. This isn't the kind of thread that I would have used necessarily in my sewing machine because I don't expect it to be sort of sewing machine friendly, but it is the kind of thread I like to have when I'm doing projects like this. And when I saw it at the dollar store for $1.25, I thought, well, I can't say no to that. So that was the reasoning behind that purchase, and that was quite a while ago. The start of a new beading project. It is just, I cannot put into words the pleasure that this has brought me in the last week or so since I've started making these things. I don't care how they wind up looking. I'm not interested if they work out at all, but it is just so fun to have a little something different to do, and you know what? They have been working out rather cute, I think. I'm pretty pleased so far. All right, what do we got here? Shell is finishing a blanket in Red Heart Biddy Stripes. Found some on sale. 4 skeins. Used a different stitch for each skein. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. And really great way to see how far the yarn goes with different stitches. We'll be discussing it in my video at the end of the month. Oh, great! That is a great experiment. It's also very useful information for other people. I feel like that comes up quite a bit. You know, how much yarn do I need for this project? Well, gosh, if there was a universal like a universal calculator, even, I know that there are calculators, but even still, you have to account for the stitch, you have to account for the individual tension, the size of the hook, you know, there's so much. All right, so far, so good. This yarn, or this thread, feels smooth enough, like I'm not having any trouble with the bigger beads. We'll see perhaps what happens when I try to break out the smaller ones, but a little bit of company on a Sunday afternoon. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is just so pleasant. It is kind of blustery out there today, so even more so I'm happy to be toasty cozy in my craft room. Oops, where do you think you're going, Mr. Bead? Come back here. So I'm doing the same sort of thing I've been doing the last few beaded applique projects. I'm stringing 3 at a time, which for these nice long sort of sweeping lines is really simple. And then I'm backing up almost like a back stitch. I guess this is actually a back stitch, and I'm going through the last of the 3 beads again. And it just really does help keep them in a line. If one feels like it's kind of trying to play outside the lines, it really does help to kind of squeeze it back into place. So I've got some nice orange ones that are a little more orange than these. So I think I'll sneak a couple of those in. Can I get 3 more in before the bottom? Yes. Yes, I can. Okay. Maybe 2 at the bottom. Actually, you know what? I'm going to really take this curve and I'm going to do 1 bead at a time down here. Hello, sweetie. Hi. Hi. Do you want to come along and say hello? I can never really tell. Sometimes you want to, sometimes you just want to make sure you know what I'm doing. Oh, she's leaving. Okay. Suzette stitch and falling leaves are very close, says Shell. Falling leaves goes a little bit further. Stacked shells gives you a lot more length for your yarn. Agreed. I love both of those stitches. Hi, Becky. Becky says, beading on a Sunday and hanging out with the InStitches family. Yes, please. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome, Becky. Nothing like a little Sunday hangout. A little bit of the fam jam. All right. So far, this is a nice, smooth, uninterrupted line. I am very pleased with that. I think it was the right decision to just sort of individually stitch down the 2 beads at the bottom to come to a point. I am ever trying to refine this new little technique that I have, you know, gotten into. I have never really done this style of beading. So it is so fun to just sort of, you know, try something and then go, okay, I think I can tweak it here. I can refine it there. And to do that, I still want to do the initial J. I wanted to do a beaded J for myself. I'm doing the carrot first because the carrot kind of got more loudly in my head. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but sometimes when I get inspired to do a few things, one thing kind of gets louder than the rest. So the carrot was like, oh, let's do the carrot. Let's do the carrot. Orange, I love orange. Let's do orange beads in a carrot. Okay, fine. And to be fair, I'm still not sure how I'm going to do the initial. I am considering trying to replicate the big beaded version I did. So the same kind of colorway and everything. I'm considering that. So I wanna think that one through a little bit, because I have a feeling that might be the first applique that actually gets stitched onto a piece of my clothing, like my jean jacket or something. Because my my initial isn't going to change. Well, that's the best kind of snow shell. It looks nice when it falls. It makes everything look kind of bright and clean, even when there's no sunlight. So I'm coming around the corner here. A few more beads for the frame. I'll knot off and I'll show you how that's looking. I know it's probably hard to tell from this distance because the color of the felt and the beads is almost identical. That is kind of a neat thing that happened. I think I can get one more in there. Yeah. Maybe two. Will I risk two? Sure, why not? Yep. Sure. Okay. Just finish this one. And I think then I will frame in the greenery, fill in the greenery, and then fill in the carrot. I think that is the plan. Just because the greenery being small is kind of ends up being like like what I feel is sort of a detail. All right, so you can sit in the book, sip a tea. That's exactly what the carrot was saying. Mr. Rabbit was saying, "Pick me, pick me." Okay, so here we go. I think you can probably see it a little better if I hold it up here. You can see my drawing, I would hope. So I've got the little spiky greenery sketched in at the top, and I completely framed in the carrot part, so the orange part of the carrot. I'm now going to frame in the greenery. I haven't quite decided which beads I'm going to use for that. Because it's a detail, I do have these nice sort of sparkly green ones. I think I'll frame them with this. That way the top will sparkle a little bit. I think that's the choice. So green sparkly beads for the top. Then I will fill in the inside. So the greenery will be done completely, and then I will go about filling in the inside of the orange carrot. And I've got nice small orange beads for that. So a little bit different than normal. Most of the beads will be the same size on the inside, which might look really cool. I've been looking at a lot of really pretty beaded brooches on Pinterest, and it got me thinking that, brain leaping ahead, I want to do a little ghost. You know how I love to make little ghost, that little ghost shape that I've made multiple times on the other channel. I want to do a ghost, a beaded ghost applique, kind of on the small side, and either turn it into a lapel pin or turn it into a hair barrette. Because I'm already starting to think like these would be really cute in the hair, but maybe just a smidgen smaller, because I feel like this might be a little too big and possibly a little on the heavy side. But I'm already starting to think, oh, this should be a brooch, like a, you know, put a bit more, I mean, yes, right? A little bit more backing on the back, a simple brooch pin, and then you don't necessarily have to stitch it down. I will be stitching my initial, I think, onto my jacket, but everything else would make really cute barrettes or brooches. And I want to do a ghost and a bat. Those two things, I know we're like Halloween is far away, but I love the cute spooky things. So I'm thinking like a ghost and a bat are kind of higher on my list than, you know, some of the other things that I might normally do. So let's have another sip of tea and get back into it here. Okay, a booby, yeah, exactly, Jessica. I really liked, I think I'm gonna, will I use the white? I think I'll use the white for the sparkly bead. I really liked that sweater. I think it was kind of, I should probably do a little bumblebee too. I mean, this could just go on and on and on. I've got some other crafts now that are starting to cram themselves into my brain going, excuse me, I would like you to spend some time with me as well. So a few more beaded appliques for sure, and probably beads will still figure prominently in some of the other things that I end up doing, but I can feel myself sort of, you know, wanting to already mix together some media and whatnot. So I just, crafting, it's the best. It never, ever, ever, ever ends. Bats are good any time of the year. I agree, Becky. They are out in the summer after all, and I love bats. I love bats too. I love bats and I love little ghosties. I love that little ghost shape. I think it's just so cute. So I've got, I think I might do these one at a time down the bottom, just so I can get a nice curve going. Okay, we'll go through that again. Hello, Charlie. Welcome to the party. Glad you're home too. Shell says, there could be a way to glue one to a hair clip too. That would give you lots of things, some flair. Yeah, I think you could glue or sew. I mean, I usually lean towards sewing just because it's kind of what's at hand, but absolutely, gluing is so much easier. Bats are great because they eat mosquitoes. And I'm not a huge fan of mosquitoes. I know they're a necessary part of the food chain, but I don't want to be a part of the food chain, so it's really nice when the bats show up. The bats, the fireflies, and the frogs. There's a bunch of birds that really like them too. So I feel like I'm kind of draw in the greenery with these bright, sparkly green beads, and then I'll fill it in with a slightly smaller, not so exciting. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the family. Lots and lots of beads. I've been raiding the stash. I'm sort of one of those people that has been collecting beads for various reasons for multiple years. And it's just nice to finally put them to use because I used to be really into beading when I was a teenager. And then I kind of got away from that. And I have all these leftover beads from that time, so it's nice to finally do something with them. I think I'm going to go down a little bit further. I'm not so sure if I'm going to complete... Oh, that looks good. I'm also trying to make sure I get those nice points. I want the definition of the point. I may... yeah, that's good. Okay. Foxes. We have the odd little fox visit. They're so pretty. Kind of magical and elusive too. I think I can get one more in here. Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to pick it up here. So these beads are wider than I was thinking in my head. Not that that's a problem. I'm trying to just go with whatever happens here. But they are definitely going to make for a slightly more challenging filler area because they're taking up a lot of the space, but I don't actually mind the way it looks. I'm going to get this outlined and I'll show you what I'm thinking. It's almost time to knot this off and get another strand going. That's 2. Let me do 3. Yep, let's do that. Okay. Secure a needle, have a sip of tea. Yes, Charlie, any animal is adorable to a point. You don't want them messing around where they shouldn't be messing around. Like the garden patch. Usually when I see a fox, he's hunting a rabbit. I think I will continue with this green thread since the orange thread proved to be perfectly okay. There we go. Okay. Ms. Rabbit. Foxes are cute unless you're lunch. I think I might be able to get 3. I'll do 2. I'll do 2 there. Yes. And then I'm going to come back up through here. Here. Oh, I know, Becky. I've seen those. I think I even have one in my sewing kit. One of those needle threaders. It's like the old-fashioned thing. It looks like a little pressed coin, and it's got this weird little narrow wire, sort of arrow-shaped thing that you drop the thread through. Like you put that through the eye of the needle, you drop the thread through it, and you pull it back through the needle. I think I've got one in my kit. I should probably pull it out. That might be a good thing to have on hand for further beading sessions. It certainly makes threading a needle a lot easier. I've got my glasses on. I've got some pretty decent light coming in here. And I still, you know, even when I'm threading a needle, I'm still kind of guessing. No, you don't. Yeah, I think after this this project today, I will go into my sewing kit and see if I can find them. I know it's been years since I looked at them. I think I've used them once in a blue moon, but I haven't been doing a lot of this kind of work in the last few years. So I haven't, I don't, I'm sort of a hoarder. I never really throw anything out. So I'm sure I still have them somewhere, but I have a feeling they're in my sewing basket. So I will look for them in the sewing basket. Tony, I agree. I would say that crafting without not quite a plan, but no stress. Like I don't really care how it works out. Of course, I want it to work out, but I'm not interested in it being amazing or perfect because I don't really fully know. I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I've not done a lot of this, so this is just fun. If it really works out, great, and I've learned something, and now I've got something cute that I can like use for further projects. And if it doesn't really work out great, well, I'll know why, because I can see what doesn't work and what does, and I've learned something. So it's just basically a net win. Oh, that is really. See, this worked out way better than I thought. All right, let me just, actually, I'm not going to fill that out yet. Let me just flip things around so you can see what I'm talking about here. So, I outlined the greenery in those bigger sparkly beads. And as you can see, there's not a lot of space now on the inside, but I do have some really small green beads in this sort of compilation of other beads, which I was digging through another I almost said craft vault. I have, you know how you stash things and you think you're organized, and then like I don't know if you're like me, but you organize within an organize within an organize, and then you think you're organized, but then you forget that you've got stuff within a thing within a thing. So I was looking at one of those things with the thing within the thing in my bead collection, and I found a whole bunch of little beads, and I was like, oh, well, where were these? I could use it. So there's a bunch of little green ones in there. So I've opened it up, I've transferred it into a different container so I can really see what I'm doing, and I'm going to pull out the little tiny beads from there. So already I'm really liking this. So really tiny little slightly lighter colored opaque beads on the inside now of the greenery. I'm liking the carrot so far. The carrot is a good shape for this. It's really a lot easier than I was kind of worried it might not be, but just like a rabbit. I know I always say this, but I really like that, and I love the shiny. I love the shiny too. Yeah, that pretty bright shiny up at the top, it draws attention to it. Okay, so I'm gonna just fill in the little tiny spaces now with all these itty bitty little green beads. Oh, there's even some small tiny green ones. Okay, well then, I mean, there's small sparklies and small opaques, so I am gonna use both. And I have to pick them up on my bead because they are so small. Come here, you. I'll do 3 at a time where I can. I think I can stick 3 in there. And I don't mind if they're kind of like, if they kind of curl up a little bit because, like, or they kind of sit up, yeah, on top of each other. I don't mind that because it just fills in the little holes a little better. So little tiny green ones. Crafting with friends on a Sunday. It's awesome because it makes me feel like I'm a teenager again. This is how we stay young, ladies. I can get one more in there. The tiny needle I'm using, shell, is definitely like, I'm not even sure it's a proper beading needle. It's definitely the right size for this, and it's got a really tiny eye, so I am struggling a little smidge to like see it when I thread it, but it's not too difficult to thread. So my mother-in-law, my awesome mother-in-law, who's into all things crafty, says that there are needles made in France that are probably the best hand sewing needles you can get because they are still machined the old-fashioned way and they don't have any burrs in them. So if you look at like your needle under a magnifying glass, and yes, she's done this, you can see that inside the eye of the needle, there's like the metal is burred. It's not really smooth, and that is one of the reasons that threading a needle can be really difficult, and why it can feel like maybe even your thread snags or breaks. It's because of the quality of the needle itself being machined. So she got some from France. Oh, if I you know what, if she can find the package later, I'll literally post the information on the community tab about what the name of them is and where she got them because she swears by them now. She threw out all her other little hand needles because these ones are just like sewing like butter. Yeah, I thought so too, Jessica. It's like you think it's you. No, no, it's actually the quality of your needle. Ooh, do I want to do that? Maybe not. Maybe I don't want to go there. Just had a little thing occur to me. I'm going to try and undo this stitch. So because I'm going to want to snip in here between the greeneries, I don't want to cross over between them because I'll end up snipping that thread. So let's go back down through here and then I will go this way. Okay, okay, it could be a little bit us. It could be a little bit us, but it's definitely the needles too. Trying to give you an out here, Shell. Come on. I can squeeze one little bead in there. Hi, Dizzy. Dizzy D is in the house. Welcome to the party, honey. We got a nice little group going here. Crafting on a Sunday. This is the hang out and do whatever and maybe learn something new stream. Just am loving playing with my beads, stretching my creative muscles a little bit, hanging out with some like-minded folks. Absolutely sensational. And I think that's it for the greenery. Wow. Wow. Oh, that turned out so nicely. Excited. So I'm just going to knot this off and snip that. Set you right there for a moment. Ooh la la. Ooh la 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 la. I'll show you guys this. So I think that obviously when I get the whole thing finished, I will take a much better photograph and it will become the thumbnail, and if you want to come back and see it, you can. I'll probably also post the previous 3 that I've done, because I did a nice photo on the posts tab of the channel of the first 4, and since then I've made, well, this will be like the 3rd of 3 more after that. So that'll be the star, or is it the bird? It's going to be the star and the apple and this carrot, which I think is kind of a cute little grouping of things. So I really like how that's coming along. Yay! I'm excited. Okay, so now I just need to fill in the orange part. Hello, Penny. Penny is here for a visit. She may or may not be making an appearance. Well, it depends. I only pick her up if she jumps up on my knee. Sometimes she just likes to come in to see what I'm doing, and then she's satisfied that I haven't, disappeared on her, and she goes back to whatever she was doing before. So I think I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to switch back to my orange thread. And out she goes again. She is so cute. Okay, I only have a little bit left on this. Let me think. I think I will... Now, I did 2 different things here. I did a random jumble with the strawberry. I followed the inside of the frame on the heart, and I did up and down rows on the apple. And I think I like the way the apple turned out the best. So I think I'm going to mimic that same thing. I'm going to do nice lines up and down, up and down, up and down. And I need to spin this around. I've got these opalescent ones. I'll dump those in there. And I've got these ones, which are also nice and shiny, but they're not opalescent. They're just kind of plain glass. I'll put those ones up here. Don't need too many of those. Oh, it looks like orange sherbet. What a color. All right. Shell says, you are so good at being your own cheerleader. It's very encouraging. It makes me feel like I don't celebrate my accomplishments enough. It's the downside of having a very detail-oriented brain. It's really true. I think we all are somewhat poor at remembering to celebrate our wins because we're so eager to get to the next finish line. I think that's something we all do. So it is important to pause and recognize that you've come a long way from wherever you started. Oh, these ones might be too small. Can I get another one on? It's okay if they are. It just means I have to find a smaller needle. Oh yeah, these ones might be too small. That's okay. Yep, these are too small. Wow. Oh wait, maybe some of them aren't that small. They can vary so much. Oh, that one's too small. That one looks like it might fit though. Let me try it. Not easy getting them onto the needle. Alright, a couple more, and if they don't work, then I'll just go all... Oh, that one worked. Okay, here we go. So it's going to be one of those, some of them work and some of them don't, because some of them are small and some of them are big. That's fine. So I'm going to try and do sort of straight lines here. Let's see if I can get another couple on. That one worked. Good. Is it what are the mediums that you used there, Dizzy? Is it like painting or yarn, or I'd like to know. That sounds cool. I like Jack Skeleton. He's a neat character. So these are very small beads, so this will take a little bit of time, but that's okay. I think the smaller beads will also have obviously more coverage. It'll look nice. Let's see if I can get another one of these on here. Oh, that one worked too. Can I try for two? Am I asking too much of the bead gods? Let me see. Here you. Oh, that one really does not want to be part of this project. Here you are. Oh, it worked. Woohoo! Can I do 4 at a time? Is that kind of asking too much? I think that might be asking too much. So I'll just stick to 3. So the ones that are too small, I will actually put in another little pocket of this bead sorter, just so I don't pick them up again. Intelligence. Oh, that one's too small. Shawl, beaded, Tunisian. I should paint her one as well, LOL. Oh, that sounds cool. Beaded Tunisian. Oh, wow. Okay, gonna have to knot off and try get myself a new thread going. Okay, yeah, that's really small, but I think that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind it when there's like almost an exaggerated frame. It looks a little like cartoony almost, not in a bad way. I count it a win if I can thread a needle on the first try. That's another success, Shell. Cheerleading pom-poms activated. That one's too small. So some of them are fine, some of them are too small. Oh, that one's worked. I find for loom knitting, I have this twice as loose on my tension than knitting. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Do you use the bigger looms, like the ones that are, I'd say the pegs are like about almost a couple centimeters apart, as opposed to, you know, the ones that are tinier, closer together? It's amazing how much we have to adjust our tension depending on the kind of tools we're using, the project we're working with, the materials we're using. Try a couple more of these. That one's too small. Nice carrot. Thank you, Mr. InStitches. This is one I won't make you eat. There, that's 3. Woohoo! I think getting this first line of the smaller beads in will be the trickiest, she says, hopefully, and then the successive lines will be a little easier, just because I'll have kind of established like the size and where they all need to sit. I'm trying to kind of tuck them in along the side of the larger beads at the moment. Again, most of these are sliding over the bead, so that's great. The 72 size. Okay, I don't think I have one of those. I'm not sure, actually. I've got some of the round ones. I do have, actually, you know what? I might have a 72. I have one that's sort of rectangular but round at the same time. Does that make sense? And it's got a lot of pegs on it. I've never actually used it for anything yet. I think I was on sort of a bit of a mission to get every sized shaped loom I could at one point, whether I had plans for it or not. So I've got quite a loom collection. I just haven't used them yet. I love carrots just about any way you want to give them to me. I have always been a fan of carrots. Apparently, I ate so many carrots when I was little, I turned orange. True story. Go for the flexi loom. Okay, I definitely don't have a flexi loom. That sounds cool. Does that mean you can like change the configuration of it? You know what? Everybody, if you feel like jumping into the chat, I would like to know the coolest crafting tool you ever got. What is the coolest crafting tool in your collection? Is it something for stitching? Is it something for beading? Is it something for hooking? Is it something for like wood burning? What's the coolest crafting tool in your collection and why? I really like to know. Not just because I might go find myself one. Always looking to add to my collection. And connect any amount of links. Okay, cool. Whoops, can I do? I have some nooks as well, Dizzy. Oh, and you've got and you're into tatting. What kind of things do you use for tatting? I've done tatting, but I've only ever done tatting just like just with my bare hands. I don't have any special tools for it. I was briefly a member of the Tatters Guild. That's 3 for 3. 4 for 4. There we go. These beads are so small they make my fingers feel fat. All right, what do we got here? Dizzy says he can make masks or simple edges like borders, etc. Cool. Becky says, my favorite in my early stages of the crafting world would have to be my crochet hooks. Yes. I mean, I absolutely love my hooks. I have more crochet hooks than I have, well, actually, I say that, I might actually have more knitting needles than crochet hooks. I think my most versatile is my glue gun. Shell, I love you. Oh my glue gun. Favorite and most useful are my Clover and Moore hooks. Agreed. Most useful in all aspects of my life is my neck light. Yes, I love my neck light. You know what? I don't use it nearly enough. I should use it more. And you're right, a glue gun is so awesome. Ooh, a 1960s sewing machine. Hello, Peaches! Welcome to the party! Hello, everyone. I got in late. That carrot looks really fancy. Thank you! All right, Peaches, what is your coolest crafting tool in your collection? I know you have a massive collection of goodies. What do you feel your coolest tool is? Or I guess I really like Shell's answer. Sure, she said most versatile, you know, then she said sort of like most useful. I like how you broke down that answer. That was a really good answer. Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm not quite sure how I would answer that even myself. Like my crochet hooks get used the most, but to be fair, only one set, and of that set, really only like 3 different sizes. So there's a lot of crochet hooks I have that I don't use all that much. I love my serger. I love my sewing serger so much. Haha. But I don't use it nearly as much as I would like to or should because I'm still kind of afraid of it. I guess I'm still sort of learning how to use it. I'm used to my sewing machine, which I also adore, but I turn on the serger. It's like you turn on the sewing machine and it gives that lovely like whoa, 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 you know, when you're using it. You turn on the serger and it sounds like you're running the engine of a small Ferrari on your sewing table, and that's a little unnerving because it really goes. Edge-it is another craft. Oh, okay. Edge-it. I don't know edge-it. There's another thing I'm going to look up. Dizzy is full of cool new ideas for me today. My scissors. I'm afraid to count them. Oh my gosh. Good answer. Scissors. Yes. How important are they? Oh my gosh. And you know what? The unsung heroes of the crafting world have got to be the scissors. You really couldn't do much without them, and you kind of take them for granted. Great answer. Always holding out hope that I'll get one that fits here. That one worked. Woohoo! Alright, let's do another one of these. Alright, that's 2 full rows done. Yes, Shell. We have scissors that we use in the kitchen rather than knives. Like cutting pizza. Anybody else cut their pizza with scissors as opposed to like a pizza slicer or a knife or anything? Just wondering. I love Italian embroidery scissors. Ooh, those sound fancy. I like watching those videos of the bobbin lace, the ones that use like the little spools. They make those lovely clinking noises. This is a little more slow going than I anticipated because, again, still so new to this. We're just talking about how tension needs to be varied based on the kind of tools and materials you're using. Well, the speed at which you can work also changes quite a lot depending on the tools and the materials you're using. I got this thing framed and the greenery done in a fraction of the time I thought it would take me. And now this is taking me way longer than I thought it would. Not complaining, just sort of making notes. I think it's also going to look a lot neater and more professional than the other ones because it's all the same sized bead and they're in really neat rows. So there's that. Becky says, I hope my husband is ready for my growing Amazon cart. Thank you, ladies. Come for the company and stay for the shopping tips. Seriously, I've just picked up a whole bunch of ideas from Dizzy. This is great. Not to mention just the basic excitement, you know, like do you remember when, if you've always been into crafts, like if you were a kid into crafts or a teenager into crafts, do you remember the feeling of like discovering a whole new craft or a whole new craft medium or something? Like, because I do. I seem to remember going through craft stages, like trends, and just getting so consumed and excited with the new craft that was coming out. I'm thinking in particular of making GIMP bracelets when I was like in grade 4. We used to trade them on the bus in the mornings, and I was just like crazy about making them. I couldn't make them enough. I loved them so much. Then I got into knotting friendship bracelets, and then I started adding beads to them, and I always like just be barely into making one, and I'd already be planning the next one. And luckily, I could make them really fast. I tried friendly plastic at one point. I got really excited about that. Making little miniature, you know, the melty plastic little stained glass ornaments that you could hang like in the window. I got crazy obsessed with those for a while. I still like to pull out the friendship bracelets and make one every once in a while. It's just fun to work macrame in such a micro environment. I think I'll get as many more rows in as I can, and then before I knot off the next strand, and then I'll give you a kind of a close-up progress shot. I feel like this is really, I'm actually thinking I'm going to start doing straight lines up the other side and then just sort of fill it in like a V. So it will sort of mimic the shape of the carrot, but from kind of in a different way than I did the heart. This is what's speaking to me in the moment, so that's what I'm going to do. Here you. Oh, that one's too small. That one works. That one's too small. That one works. Sewing and art was my life. Yes. Art. Oh my goodness. I love sewing so much. Somewhere I have one I made as a watch band in high school. LOL, a bracelet watch band. Oh, that's so cool. What a great idea. All right, now I'm going to go up the other side. Let's see if I can pick up the pace a little bit. I think I put that one a little too small. Let's see if I can undo that. Possibly not. There we do. I did it. Woohoo! Okay. Taught to crochet at 13. Flower wreath decor, etc. Early 20s. Jewelry, early 30s. Paper crafting, early 40s. And heavily back into crochet for the last 10 years. Nice. Paper crafting. Oh, yes. You know what? I forgot. I went through a scrapbook phase, which I still kind of dive into every once in a while. Tony says, I enjoyed drawing at a very young age, then photography, and used to photograph weddings and portraits. Now it's soap making and crochet. Soap making! Oh, that must smell so nice. Soap making. Oh, man. Does anybody find that their craft mood, so the kind of craft they're in the mood to do, changes with the seasons changing? Oh, you've got 3 new soaps curing and filling the air right now. Oh my gosh, so Tony's place must smell amazing. Beeswax candle making. Oh, Shell. Yes. That's another craft that smells amazing. Tony prefers crochet when it's cold. I agree. Crochet when it's cold is a great. I like to sew. I get very excited about sewing when the spring comes. I feel like I want to sew new things in the spring. Sewing and beading all seasons, says Peaches. Well, Ms. Rabbit, if you're thinking about it, you should try it. Especially if you've done it before. Like if it's something you've done before and you enjoyed, you should. I think it's always fun to revisit something that you used to do, that you enjoyed, that you still, like you're already set up to do the stuff. Like if you've got everything you need, as opposed to like having to go out and start from scratch and buy everything. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get through that again. Okay, all right. Soap and body butter. Becky says, I buy homemade soap at craft shows. So good. One of my charity items, says Shell this year, are shower scrubbies, which is going to be so great for the summer months and to really use up some cotton yarn. Yes, sometimes the project itself is the thing that changes based on the season, not so much the medium. Tony, soap making is fun. I make body butter too, and it's my therapy. I used to make hand lotion, says Dizzy. Okay, so there's another thing that I haven't tried. Maybe I should. Certainly would smell nice. I like the idea of knowing what goes into the stuff I'm using, like, say, soaps. I think I could keep going here for a little bit. Wow, that is really, really messy compared to the other side. That is funny. I wonder why that happened. think I'm gonna, well, no, I can probably get 3 more in here. They are, after all, pretty small. Then I'm gonna knot off and I'll show you my progress. A little more close up so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's gonna iron it out. I love the growing weight of the beads on this, on these little projects. It just feels so satisfying. Okay. Yeah, making headway, making headway. So here's where we're at. I hope that's not too close. So I've got the little tiny beads going on the inside, and I'm trying to do, I was going to just start doing straight lines, realized I was kind of following the lines of the side of the carrot, so I'm going to do 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and then kind of fill the inside in, and it's going to be a little bit V-like, I realized, because I'm kind of hugging, you kind of can't help it, but you end up hugging the side of the frame. But rather than go like around and around and around, I'm just going to kind of do lines, like the striations, and I think that's going to look, I think it's going to look nice. The beads are small, so it's slow going, and some of the beads don't want to actually go over the needle, so I'm kind of, half the beads I have to kind of discard into a secondary little thing, so it's taking me a little longer than normal, but I really like how that's looking, and then when the whole thing's filled in, it's going to look like a carrot, a kind of a cartoon carrot where it's framed with one set of beads and then it's fully filled in with another set that are all small. So far, so good. I like the way it looks. I mean, it's a carrot in such a cute shape. And it's another one of those shapes that's like obvious when you put in the right colors. It's like, oh, I'm looking at a carrot, you know? I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. So, back to filling in the orange. So Shell has made her own pump soap. E Peaches makes her own hand and body lotion. Awesome. You guys all must smell really nice, like all the time. That's a good thing to have a lot of in the winter. I feel like we get dried out. What my family likes to call furnace face. All right. Slowly but surely, it's coming together here. Oh, really small. Becky says, I am getting excited to see the finished carrot. I like it so far. Thank you, me too. I also am getting excited to see the finished carrot, which I always have to check myself because I start to kind of speed up and then I make silly mistakes and I drop beads and just gotta chill out, enjoy the process. And somehow there's a knot. How is there a knot in here? Again, that's so funny when that happens. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Looks like I might be able to get 3 in here. Oh, that one doesn't want to go. Becky says, I can keep my cool, and you keep your cool, and I will have the bead dropping excitement for you. Thank you. Okay. Now that little knot is really annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a squirrel or actually just one of the neighbor's dogs' shell. Penny has a lot to say, especially when there's a few of the neighbors' dogs like to come kind of play on a little scrap of our front lawn, which is cute, a little rude, but kind of cute. And I think it drives her up the wall, which all right, I'm really struggling with some of those little ones, so let me switch back to these. As long as that little knot is in my thread, I'm going to keep kind of stuttering a bit here. It's kind of annoying, but hopefully that gets... I don't know how that happened. There we go. There's one. That one's too small. That one's too small. There we go. Yeah, especially if they leave presents behind. No, so far nobody does that. I think everybody's pretty good about. Mostly it's just sort of like to do a little romping. We've got a nice ditch. I know this sounds funny, but it's like if you're an animal or a small child, it's like the most fun ditch on the street. So I can see why it's a popular spot. And mostly it's where the playing happens. I don't think there's much in the way of present dropping, but still a little rude. Oh my gosh, did Penny set your dogs off? I am so sorry, but also how cute is that? Penny would be very, very pleased to know that she's got what I would assume is a couple of dogs agreeing with her in the background somewhere. No worries, they bark at the wind. We don't mind. Yes, Penny has a lot to say to uh, all sorts of things. Like, if she thinks that somebody's garbage can is suddenly in a position that it shouldn't be, it sets her off. So I'm sure it means something to her. Hello, Summer. Welcome to the party. I am working my way through a beaded carrot. Very crunchy. Especially with this thread that keeps knotting on me. I don't know how or why that happened exactly, but think I'm getting closer and closer to the knot, so it won't be an issue very soon. Next, a bowl of dip. I'm definitely doing my initial next. That is definitely the next one because I'm starting to envision it. I had to get through the carrot first. I had to clear the job queue in my brain before I could get to that the idea of doing the initial. But I think I do want to try and mimic the button one I did, the large button one I did, because I really like the colors on that. I might not have all the colors that I need, but I might do something in the similar kind of fashion, like that, just that kind of ombre look, because the shape of the letter is the thing that does the talking. You know, letters don't necessarily have a color associated with them, so that's why I can kind of go, like, have some fun, like, playing around with color as opposed to trying to be, you know, sort of specific to, obviously, like, birds come in different colors. I was thinking of a bluebird. Hearts, stars, strawberries, these things have very kind of specific colorways typically. I realize hearts could probably be any color you wanted, but I mean, I think red and pink are the kind of the most common colors for a heart. I could be wrong. Might be something worth looking up. Yeah, so I think that's going to be fun. I get to sort of fiddle around with the colors as opposed to the shape dictating, or the actual thing I'm making dictating it. Did I just drop one in here? I did. There it is. That one's going to go right there. Can we see the initial you already have? Yes, I will grab it for you. Summer says, did YouTube get rid of display names? Yes, it did. On for some reason, comments and chats, people do not show up now as like their chosen name. It's just sort of their @ handle. I don't know why, because it is so stupid, because a lot of the time somebody's name or the name they want to be known as isn't the same as their handle, which is dumb and not helpful for anybody who wants to just sort of chit chat. Let me take a moment. I'm going to refresh my tea, and I'm going to get that button numeral, my letter. I'll grab that, Shell. Great idea. I'll be right back, everybody. Okay, I am back, tea refreshed, and I've got my big letter. Okie dokie. Okay, all right. So, I'm back. This is the letter. Some of you have probably seen it if you watched the other channel, because often I have it in the background, sitting behind me on one of my shelves. It is one of the most fun little crafts I've ever done. I bought a couple bags of random buttons from Walmart ages ago. And they're all kind of, a lot of them are similar colors. They're all mostly mismatched. They're for crafting. They're craft buttons. They're not, I mean, they're fine. They're plastic buttons. You could use them on clothing, but they're largely, I think, for crafts. Anyways, I have mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains of buttons. So I did a great big sorting thing ages ago, and I thought I saw something like this on Pinterest. I thought, oh, I like that. So all I did was make a cardboard cutout, and then I painted it white on the front so that there would be a nice white background. And then I just kind of sort of created piles of, like, in the color the color pattern I wanted, so to go mostly like in the rainbow kind of shades. And then I just started gluing them on, and that's it. That's all I did. It's just glued on, and I added a little bit of ribbon so I can actually hang it. But that's it. Anyway, I really like how that looks. So I'm kind of thinking about making, because the letter is the thing, the shape is the thing, the color doesn't matter, because you see the shape and you go, that's a J, that's a J. If you see, you know, a strawberry and it's, you know, turquoise, you might not know right up front that it's a strawberry. You might think, is that a different kind of berry? But with a letter or a number, it's a thing. We know what it is, so it can be any color you want, which is why I kind of like how this looked. This turned out well. I like it. It's one of my favorite decorations in here. And I was thinking that it might look kind of cool if I tried to recreate it using beads, in an initial about that big, you know, kind of like a letter jacket about that size for one of my denim jackets. So that's the next plan. I'm going to try that next. I will sift through the beads and decide which ones I want color-wise, like if I really want to try and go rainbowy, or if I have a whole lot, like I'm not really sure. I have to take a really good close look at all my beads, and because I'm thinking it might look kind of neat to, if I have like 3 or 4 hues of one color, like let's say I have a whole bunch of reds and pinks, it might just look really cool to just do reds and pinks and lilac, or red, pink, white, I don't know, something like that. So I'm gonna think about it. I do like the rainbow effect, but I'm not sure I have any purple beads, but I have a lot more blue than I thought I did. Anyway, that's the next one I'll be working on. So I'm, in the meantime, gonna get this finished. Thank you, Shell. Yeah, really fun way to craft. Like, it's just cardboard and plastic buttons, nothing fancy. I'm gonna have to, I'd like to, I might also decide on colors based on sizing, because as much as I love these super tiny beads and the effect they're making, I will need to get a better beading needle if I'm going to want to zip quickly through being able to sort of thread up the smaller beads, because it's frustrating to have to stop. You know, like you try a bead and it doesn't work, and you have to stop and pull it off and then go to the next one. So that's sort of slowing me down, and the crafter in me that wants to, like, it gets excited and wants to get to the end of the project, that is there. Those two wolves are struggling right now with each other. I do like that I decided to kind of fill it in a few rows on one side, a few rows on the other. This is creating a nice shaping, like a nice angling of the beads. So that was a good choice. I think I finally got to that spot in the thread where the knot was, so that's out of my way. Almost ready to tie off again. I think I might be able to get these last two in. Or I have to do that. Yeah. Maybe I can do one more. Okay. Are they at the closing ceremony? Okay, this is hilarious. I forgot or didn't realize that Olympics were happening until we had a stream here and Shell mentioned it. Then completely immediately forgot that the Olympics were on. Still haven't really caught anything. I think we caught one routine of like one skater. Blanked on it, and now you're telling me that it's the closing ceremony already? I have been mucho distracted. Oh, there's nothing like a nice hot cup of tea on a windy, snowy day. Yes, I'm a busy girl, Becky. I've got got a lot of good stuff going on, including a little goodie tomorrow on tomorrow's live stream on the other channel. And depending on the kind of day, I might get back into beading again. I don't know. It's a full week. I have a very busy week ahead of me, but I'm going to try and squeeze in as much of this as I possibly can because it is making me so happy, and I am enjoying playing with my beads so much. It is such a great crafty palette cleanser. It has made me want to try other things in all kinds of different medium, not just with yarn. So this is just wonderful. Plus, I really like the intimate factor of these cozy little hangouts. Two plus weeks of Olympics. Baseball's back though, so I've got the Blue Jays spring training on the TV. Oh my gosh, has that started already? Hoot hoot. They did pretty well last season, if I recall correctly. Hello, miss. You can push the tour. Hi. Hi, sweetie. Did you come for a little visit? Wondering what I'm still doing in here? You should do at least one thing that makes you happy every day, says Becky. Becky, that is a really great statement. And I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I know it's easy to get super busy with everything, work, life, chores, even other crafts. And sometimes if you're like busy making things for other people, it can stop feeling like it doesn't necessarily feel like you time. All of a sudden it feels like you're on the clock, you know, even if it's something you enjoy doing. So yes. Let me just ring the bell. Was that you? No, that's not you. Hey, sweetie. Do you want to come up for a little hello? Sure. Tell you what, let me put this up. Let me put this up and I'll move myself back a little bit. Penny wants to come up for a visit. Okay, okay, come here. Come here. Up here, up here. Come here. Yes, good girl. No, up here. I'll pick you up. I'm not leaving. You want to come up for a visit? You want to come up for a visit? Come on. You want to come up for a visit? No? She gets kind of squirrely. I think she wants me to go play with her. In a little while, sweetie. In a little while. In a little while. Do you want to come up and say hello to everybody? No? You don't want to come up? Here. You want to say hello? No. You just want to like play on the carpet. Okay. All right. You stay on the carpet. You stay on the carpet. Don't you want to come up? No? Sorry, everybody. You're such a little squirt. No, I'm not leaving. I'm sorry. Nope, nope. No, you lost your window. Sorry, honey. Dogs, am I right? She's like, fine. And go play with Dad. Yes, one of these appliques on a homemade project bag. You know what? I have a homemade project bag that could use a freshening up, like a new applique. That's a great idea, Ms. Rabbit. Yes, Shell. it is important to do some things that you want to do just for fun or just for you. Like, it's great to make things for people, like gifts. It's great to do little projects for people if they ask you to help them out. It's wonderful to do things for charity. It's even fun to do things because you want to have a you know, like a craft sale or something. But all of it can start to feel like a job. So it's important to sort of just spend a little time goofing off or doing something that is just really for you. Like, I feel like this is really for me. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to end up used on something. I have no idea what the lifespan of these little appliques is, but it doesn't really matter because I'm enjoying doing it and I'm learning a new technique. I think that's another thing. We really have to work at keeping our brains busy. Doing the same thing, you know, like work related or whatever every day it kind of lets parts of your brain atrophy, I think. So it's important to sort of, you know, try new techniques and do new things. We run out if we don't fill our own cups. Exactly, Ms. Rabbit. Exactly. Now you're back, are you? Oh, let's get that one in there first. So way up there at the top. Oh, I can still get another one in there. Where'd that go? Come here. I guess the weight of your appliques won't matter quite as much for the ones you will permanently sew down versus the ones you want to be able to move around. I think, yes, like I think if the backing is stiff enough, so for example, if you want to make a brooch or a hairpin out of it, or a magnet or something, I think you want to make sure that you stiffen the back by putting on extra backing, like something like a faux leather or a thicker piece of felt or some interfacing of some kind. I think that would be wise because that'll help stiffen it, and the weight, like the weight won't make it floppy. But yeah, like you don't want to have something that's so heavy that it pulls the clip out of your hair, or it sort of sags the blouse or the sweater you're wearing if you're wearing it as a brooch. So I think the weight does matter in that regard. But no, if you're sewing it onto something, unless, like I said, I was thinking about making myself a collar, sewn, big oversized collar, because I love that look, and sewing some appliques onto the front of it. But when I started to make these, I realized that they are, at least the ones I'm making here, are heavy enough that they would probably pull the collar forward and down, and it would be not super attractive and possibly uncomfortable. So a little more thinking needs to go into decorating this collar I want to make. Yet another project I'd like to do here along with everybody. So many things that I want to do. I also noticed that as that gets a little heavier, like with the weight of the beads, it almost feels a little easier to kind of manipulate. Wow, not having much luck with these beads. Come on. That one worked. And that one does not want to work. No problemo. I think I can get one more little bead in here. It goes faster and faster as you fill it in, which is nice. It's kind of like making a shawl from the wide side first and then getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The project speeds up, which I like. I like those kinds of projects that get smaller as you get closer to the finish line because it feels like it's speeding up. This is also making me want to get out sequins. Oh, and I have a bedazzler still. Does anybody else still have a bedazzler? And should I get that out and do something with it? Definitely getting closer here, Becky. If these beads would just cooperate. The C to C can feel like such a chore, says Shell. It's so true. It's very repetitive. Speedy beginning and middle, it feels like it's never going to finish. And a speedy finish. I love them though. Yeah, me too. I do. There's something to be said for the repetition of some things, like a stitch or, you know, like cross stitch or whatever. Like there's that repetition, which is comforting and zen. But at the same time, you're like, when is this going to be done? I think that just has a lot to do with the state of mind we're in at the time. Never had a bedazzler, and you definitely should. You never had a bedazzler, Shell. I can lay my hands on the bedazzler right now. That's how that's how organized my craft room is these days. That I have a bead loom. Jessica Rabbit, you never had one. Becky says definitely pull out the bedazzler. So bead loom, bedazzler, and what's the other one? Oh, and of course, I'm sure most of us have a rainbow loom. I absolutely love that little thing. I love looms of all kinds, but yes, the bedazzler. I wonder, you know what? It's actually a pretty good tool. And I feel like, you know, over the top, maybe not over the top, but I feel like sweaters and shirts with a little extra bling are kind of making a quiet comeback. I have to think of something I can do. First of all, I see if I can lay my hands on the fittings. You have to have these little rhinestones with the little it's like a little bed with teeth. So I have to make sure I've got some of those, and then I can actually demonstrate using it. And then I'll have to think of something I can bedazzle for y'all. I'm sure I have something in my closet that could use a bit of bling. Wow, this carrot I think is turning out to be the nicest one I've made yet. Well, you know, isn't that the point? Isn't that the hope that every single time you approach a new project inside of a median, you get better and better than the last time you did it? I feel like that's kind of what we're aiming for. You've never had a rainbow loom? Ms. Rabbit? Of all the fun little crafting things that, you know, you don't have to feel ashamed as an adult having. You can do a lot more than just bracelets. I'm going to say that right off the bat. And it's very easy to get addicted. All right, let's knock this off. As a matter of fact, I've got a couple of little rainbow loom charms that I made right here, I think, on the table. Let me just see if I can find them. Yeah, these are just two of the ones that I have. So let me quickly switch it up here. So, a little like, I think that's supposed to be like a little baby doll, and then a pretty star. They make fun little keychains, and I mean they're just those elastics. I've got a whole bunch. I made, I think my favorite one I've made so far is a little duckling. I've got like a box of them that I've made, and I feel like I need to do something with them, like turn them into some sort of a silly, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with them all. But this is what I like to do on my rainbow loom. I like to make little characters and like three-dimensional charms, basically, as opposed to, say, like bracelets. I've made a couple bracelets, but I don't wear rainbow loom bracelets. That's I'm not gonna say that's like juvenile or something, because I'm sitting here beating stuff. But I'm talking about gimp bracelets and friendship bracelets. It's not that it's like, it's just not my style. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. And there's, some of them are really pretty and everything. And they're really fun if you're going to like go to the beach and whatnot, because you can wear them in the water. But they're not really my thing. I have made some, but they're not really my thing. It's the charms that I got crazy obsessed with making, because those are fun. Anyway, I have a little bit more beading left to do, and then I will be done my carrot. So let's see. The finish line draws near, friends. I feel bad for Becky, because if she hasn't already got one of these, it's probably going to be in the cart. Struggling a little to get this. And there it goes again. All right, let's try the other end. Come on. Really? Literally no trouble this entire time, and now all of a sudden? All right. Let's get a fresh end here. I guess I'm going to have to get that needle threader sooner rather than later. What is happening all of a sudden? Come on. A wind chime. Oh, that's a neat idea. The thing, though, I like about wind chimes is that they actually chime. I guess I could mix them in with something that makes noise, but... Good grief. Can you believe this, you guys? What is happening here? Oh, come on. What is happening? There we go. Don't know what that was all about, but it's not an issue now. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to start up here, come down the middle again. Hi, you checking on me again? Hey, sweetie. Are you going to get up on my lap this time? Hey, you want to say hello? Maybe? All right, let's see if you want to come up for a visit. Do you want to come up for a visit? Let's find out. You want to come up here? You want to come up and say hello? Yes. Come on. Yeah, come here. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah. Let's say hello. Say hello, hello, hello. Okay. You stand up on my shoulder because you think you're a cat or possibly a bird. Say hello to everybody. Yes. Yes. Penny to the rescue. She also likes to like get up and look out the window because there's a lot of windows in this house that she can't see out of. She's too short. Which is really funny because we'll forget, we'll be standing at the window going, wow, look at that thing, like whatever it is, and she's right at our feet like, what are we laughing at? See that, everybody? Mm-hmm. Good girl. Yeah. Thank you for the visit. It's very nice to see you. Okay. Do not jump off my lap. It's a long way down for people with little legs. There you go. Okay. Good girl. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. The Penny interlude. Penny has been snuggled. Okay. Have any more in here? Just that one? Let's do 2 more. My youngest walks in and says, doggo. She's a sweetie. She's so small. She doesn't sound small though. That's the funny thing about dachshunds. They've got really big barks for how small they are. And she's a mini dachshund, so she should have a mini bark, but it's actually quite big. And we had a couple of little girls come to the door yesterday selling tickets, I guess. They're like, for their raising money for their soccer team or something. Really cute. Just, absolute precious couple of girls. Probably, oh gosh, probably tweens. They couldn't have been any older than 12 or 13. And we put Penny on the bed so that she wouldn't, like in the other room, so that she couldn't come to the door, and she's just barking her head off. And we're chatting with the girls, and finally I said, I'm so sorry about the noise, and the one girl goes, oh, that's fine. What kind of a dog is she? And I said, oh, she's a miniature dachshund. She's this big. And she goes, she is? She sounds a lot bigger than she is. I also know better than to force the bead over the needle. Sometimes, like with just a small nudge, it'll go over the eye. But you can kind of feel that, and if you force it, it'll snap the bead. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to have little bead shards kind of all over the place. So if I bring it down and it goes nope, then I don't even try. Oh, there it is. I knew there was another one. There is a beater's awl in a way, helps resize to a point. Oh, like the bead? I'll have to look into that. That is not something I've heard of. I do like awls. Awls are cool. One of my friends when I was in high school was really into leather work, since we were talking about crafting earlier. And she just, I don't know, it's just something she decided she would try a single project because she had something in mind for something she was up to. She was always up to something. And she was into horses. And I think it may have been horse related. I'm not sure. But it's like she got a taste for leather working and she just got so excited. And she made me the most fantastic belt of my life. I still have it. I love it. It may be making, may end up on a stream at some point, or at least in a video. It is just such a fabulous, intricately made. She did all of this drawing and everything on it, and I'm pretty sure one of the things she used was sort of like a leather awl. She does a bunch of like little dots, and I'm not sure all of that happened, but it's really fantastic. I love it. I still have it, and it still fits. It's a bit tight. I don't have the same waist that I did in high school, but I can still get it to work. Yep, I've cracked a bunch of beads. It bugs me the most when it's the same pack of beads, but some of them fit and some of them don't. Yeah, it drives me crazy. But I think a lot of that is it's just like the randomness of the beads themselves. Like they're for whatever reason they come out with different sized middles. Some of them are just different sized in general. I don't know how beads are made. I should probably look that up on the internet because it's strange to me how varied they can be. It feels like if they were machine made, that they would be a lot less varied in their size. So I don't know what's up with that, but I should look into it. Summer says, do little dogs ever do the quiet bark when they just kind of go boof? Oh yeah, all the time. It's my favorite when my German Shepherd does that. No big girl bark, just a quiet boof. Yes, before she gets, if she knows that she's supposed to be quiet, because we're really annoyed with her because she's been, like, we're trying to watch a movie, or it's 3 in the morning or something like that, and she really wants to bark, but she's also not sure if it's something she should bark at, we'll get the which I like. I like the uff. The uff makes me smile. And with that, I think we just finished. I think I might be able to sneak in one little more. If I can get one of these little plain orange ones to work. Well, it's not going to be that one. And there we go. Oh, wow. 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 Okay. Definitely the most involved beaded applique I've done so far, but I think possibly the best one so far, which makes sense. It should be, because I should be getting better and better with each one that I do. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So let me just put my beading needle back in the beading book. So needles away. Okay, thread away. I now need to trim this down. So I definitely want my little tiny embroidery needle so I can get these small bits. I definitely do not want to just cut around the corners. I'm going to give this a little bit more than I normally do because I want to make sure I really like the work I did on this so much. I want to make sure that I absolutely do not cut anything that I shouldn't. The final trim down. Da 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 da. I think I can make this a little neater. You should do a sun like your crochet sun. You know what, Dizzy? I was just thinking of that earlier. I thought, I wonder if I should do a sun. I did a star. I feel like that would probably make sense. Ooh, that was close. I almost... Don't snip. Okay, you know what? One more. One more careful snip. Okay. Well, well, well. I can hold it like that, I guess. That's kind of cool. Okay. Let's see if I can hold this nicely so you can sort of see how it turned out. So, definitely the best one yet. I'm not sure if that's just the choice of beads, the size of the beads, the nice neat lines that I was able to do because it was mostly uniform beads. I don't know if maybe you get a different feel. Like if you use the same beads like I did here, that makes a really nice filler. Like that looks almost professional. But there's something fun about using a whole bunch of different shaped beads like I did with this one. Like this one's got kind of like a fun candy kind of feel to it. So I like both styles, but wow, I'm really pleased with that carrot. I'm definitely going to take a better picture in the light. It'll be the thumbnail. So if you want to come back and see it looking better, I'll have that. I'm also going to post a picture of the most recent 3, which is the star and the apple and now the carrot. So I'm going to post a picture of those on the community post tab of the channel here. It's a nice little kind of collection. That makes number 7. So I'm really zipping along. I don't know how many of these I'm going to do. I'm just going to do what I feel like doing, and that's the kind of the point here, and I think kind of the fun. It's the cleanse your palette crafting sessions, and I feel like if you've got things that you're working on or that you want to try, you know, this is great company. So if you're just want to sit down, you want a little company, you want to hang out and chat with a few of your pals, then this is the stream for that. If you want to try something new, you can maybe block off, like these are typically an hour and a half, sometimes we go a little longer, but you can maybe block off this time and be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to reserve that time to try that other craft or get into that kit or whatever I was going to do. Like just give yourself the time to do it, because I think one of the reasons that these kits and these crafts and these things that we want to do, write, look up, like whatever it is, whatever that little tiny, you know, itching hobby at the back of your head is, we tend to want to do it, plan to do it, think about doing it, and not get to it because we always tell ourselves there's something else that we should probably be doing. We procrastinate getting at it because maybe we're like, well, I don't want to open the kit because it looks so pretty, or I don't want to wreck it. Like I don't want to screw it up and therefore feel bad about it and then not finish it and have another unfinished thing. Don't think about it like that anymore. If you're the type that's thought about stuff like that in that way, don't think about it like that anymore. Just try it and let this little live stream time be the time that you try it. If you need that kind of encouragement. I mean, I do sometimes, so that's kind of the whole point of me doing this for me is like I want to try these things. I want to try beading appliques. I've never done that before. I'm really enjoying it. Next one I'm going to do is going to be my initial. Possibly to look something like this, possibly. Not sure yet, but definitely like a proper J, because I really like how this one turned out. And I'm just thinking, but you know, it's gonna go on my denim jacket. I have several denim jackets. I have a really dark denim jacket, and you know, denim, everything looks good on denim. So I could probably choose any colorway I wanted, but I'm gonna put a little bit more thought into the colors and the beads style that I want, because now that I've done this carrot, and I really like how much it looks like with the smoothness of the beading, versus, you know, I really like my strawberry, but like I'm gonna have to decide which style, chunky candy or smooth and kind of professional looking. I have to decide which one I want, like what's the feel I want for that jacket. I don't know, because I'm going to make this is going to be the first intentional beaded applique. So it's actually going to have an end target, an end use. I'm going to make it to go on probably the front pocket of one of my denim jackets. So next time we do this stream, I will have the jacket, I will have the beads, and I might even try a slightly different fabric, something that I feel will stand up a little bit more to getting stitched to a jacket. Not sure. There's going to be a little more thought put into the next one. So that should be the next stream. Whenever that happens, I don't know. You'll know as soon as I do, because I typically just go, oh, I've got time. I'm going to flick on the camera and go, go, go. So today was the carrot, and I love how the carrot turned out. These are really fun. This is really stretching different muscles too. There's different little parts of your hands and fingers and wrists and arms used when you're doing beading versus other things like sewing and knitting and crocheting and all that. So anyway, really enjoying this. I'm going to pop into the chat just for a quick little, I want to just make sure I haven't missed anything. So Jessica Rabbit really likes the shiny beads. I do too. I think that really makes the top. I like the way that looks. Everybody, you know what? I'm really pleased. I have enough cotton yarn to make both boys a son for birthday gifts. Show Dizzy, good, do it. Yes, Tony, you gotta try one. Try one. I just jumped in. The first one I did was this one. I just thought, you know what? Mushrooms are so cute. I love that toadstool, that fantasy toadstool thing. That's the first one I tried. I used fairly bigger beads. Just start with a very simple shape and nothing that's super color different, like maybe one or two colors tops, and just go for it. It's actually it's quite freeing to just try it. And Shell got something finished. Awesome. I love this. See? I see canvases. Oh, I got big plans for those, Ms. Rabbit. Hopefully that will, yeah, I might even work on one of those on one of these streams. Why not? It does look like a giant candy J. I think that's kind of what, yes, I've been using felt, Tony, for the backings. Nothing fancy. It's just from the dollar store. I have a big pile of felt from other projects that I've done over the years. So I'm just working my way through that, because a couple of the beading tutorials that I did watch on YouTube, they were just using felt. So I thought, wow, I've got that. And it's fine. It seems to make a pretty good backing. It's stiff enough. I just feel like for something a little more permanent, I think I want to add a backing to it, or just try working on a different fabric that might be a little stronger. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I have. I'm trying not to buy anything. I'm really trying to do all this with just like stuff that I have in my stash. That also kind of makes it fun. It gives it like guardrails or framework, like, oh, I have to use what I have, so let me find the best possible thing. And then this is what's been coming out. So this is kind of fun. And yeah, the J, exactly, Ms. Rabbit. Unless you're asking about the J, because the big J was all cardboard, but that's glues and buttons and, you know, nothing super fancy. Everybody's having a good time. Good, that's the whole point. Okay, all right, my darlings. Thank you so much for hanging out yet again. We will see you soon here on Stories and Stitches, one hopes. Until then, stay safe, stay crafty, and remember, you get to stitch your own story. That's what I'm doing here, and I hope you guys do too. So, take care, and we'll see many of you tomorrow. Bye for now. Have a great evening, and look for that picture. I'm going to post a picture in the post of the recent 3. I'll have a much better picture of that carrot coming soon. See you guys later. Bye.